Hi everyone, I'm Stacey Taubman, founder and CEO of Rise Collaborative. Welcome to On the Rise TV, where we feature incredible women and their story. In today's episode, I can't wait to talk to Gloria Neal, someone who's been on TV, on the radio, and now a real leader in the community. From being a TV news anchor to a radio talk show host, and now Director of Public Affairs for Michael B. Hancock, Mayor of Denver, Gloria Neal is a well-known personality in the Denver community and nationally sought-after public speaker. She frequently uses her 30-plus years working in the public and private sectors to support philanthropic and community causes she is passionate about. These have included the American Red Cross Mile High Chapter and low-income housing organizations, as well as the National Coalition of 100 Black Women of Metro Atlanta. Hi, Gloria.
Hey.
Or should I say glow?
You should say glow. We are relaxed.
I love it. I'm so glad you're here. It's an honor to have you here today.
Thank you.
And I know the audience is really lucky to hear from you and your story. You've done lots of great things and are continuing to do lots of great things. So I can't wait to share a little bit about that.
Okay.
But we take it on back before we go forward.
Oh, gosh. Do we have to?
Yes, we do. You know, our whole thing at Rise is create a pipeline for success. We want to grab people in high school and inspire them on their way. So I love talking to people about who they were in high school.
Oh my gosh.
Right? Because there's all this pressure to have it all figured out. And so I'm curious, did you have it all figured out?
Oh, no, not even close.
Right?
I can remember, so I was really an athlete, right, in high school. So I ran track, threw shot put, played volleyball, basketball.
You did it all.
I loved sports, and it was a saving grace, there's no question. And they offered me a scholarship junior year.
Wow.
Right? State of Texas.
That's amazing.
It was wonderful.
And
as I
terrifying.
look back then. Here's what happened. They offered me the scholarship. Now, when you do, track and field, you are running all the time.
Yes, it's your life.
And I was a sprinter, and I was sick of it, right? I was sick of it and missed the opportunity to recognize that they were doing me a favor, right? They were offering me a full ride, small school, some, prairie, blah, 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 whatever it was, but it was a full ride.
Sure.
And I said, no.
How'd your parents
And
feel
they
about
said,
that?
hold on. Here's the honey hush. I never told them. I never told my because I was like, oh, I can make this decision because I'm so grown.
Yeah, so grown.
I'm a junior, right? But I was so sick of running and could not see the forest for the trees, i.e., you won't have to worry about a student loan. You won't have to worry about room and board. You get the education and move on and do what you need to do. I never told them until I think I told my mother I was 28. And she was like, you are kidding me. And I said, no. I turned, and we happened to be in San Antonio, and one of the coaches saw me. He was like, oh my God, it's so good to see you, and blah, blah, blah. And you know what? I wish you'd have taken that track scholarship.
Right.
And my mother's like, what track scholarship? And
Wow,
so, no,
okay.
I didn't have it all figured out because then versus now, I wish I had done that because it would have saved me oodles of money.
Right. But it's hard when you're that age to have that perspective. You are more focused on
smelling myself.
Yes.
Let me just put, you are focused on the wrong things because you don't know what you don't know.
You don't know what
right?
you don't know.
And what I learned is even in college, when you declare a major, it's okay to change it.
I love
That's
that.
what college is about. Changing your mind and figuring it out. And even afterwards, figuring it out again. It is a this and that world. You don't have to choose. You don't have to choose right away, right? So people say, well, you can have it all. You can't have it all at once. You got to sleep.
Right.
But if you pick and choose and say this and that, you can do a lot more than you think you can.
And you're not pigeonholed.
That's
You know,
right.
my degree's in math, and here I'm now running a company.
That's
you
exactly
never predict
right.
it.
It is awesome.
Oh, well, thank
awesome
you.
what you're doing.
Well, it sounds like it taught you some lessons that probably played out well in your career.
No question.
So you didn't go with that track scholarship, but then did you go into journalism?
No. So,
Okay.
Because I was so grown, I wanted to go to work.
Fair enough.
And so that's right. So going into the workplace and understanding, you're right, sports really does teach you in many ways about team efforts, about coming together, which is so apropos for today's workforce. But it also teaches you that when individuals who are supposed to step up don't, move, because I'll step up. Somebody's got to lead. It's either lead or die. Oh, we're so leading.
Yes,
I'm leading.
we're moving.
Track sports taught me that. The workplace in many ways reinforced it. It also reinforced a lot of what I had heard of about, well, you know what, if a man does this, he's just being a man. If a woman does this, she's bitchy or she's assertive or she's a
bossy.
Bossy, those kinds of things. Owning your space is something else. When they talk about athletics really giving women confidence, young girls confidence, and teaching them about who they are, that when you think you can't do something, just remember when you were running that, whether it was cross-country sprinting, throwing shot put, or whatever it was, or 10 points down on the court, and you came back as a team to make it happen. Well, right now you are the team.
Absolutely.
So it's either sink or swim out here. Nobody's carrying you, so make it happen.
Yeah, and that does translate well. And so how did you get involved in TV and radio? Because I know you were on both for many years.
I was.
Which again, I was saying off camera, makes me nervous to interview somebody who has such TV presence.
Well, let me tell you, I was involved in radio. Radio was the first love by a contest.
Get out.
Lord, a contest.
Okay.
I was in Colorado Springs working for Air Force Base Command, an individual by the name of Colonel Kirkpatrick. And I happened to be in the Citadel Mall in Colorado Springs, right on Academy Boulevard. I'll never forget it. My hair was really long at the time. I had it in a ponytail. I had on sweats because those are my go-to weekend clothes.
I understand.
Went into the mall and because I was going into there for something, and I saw over this huge storefront, Magic FM radio tryouts. And so I'm like, what are these people doing? They were in suits and dresses, and I didn't have a resume. I mean, I was just I thought ill-prepared. And I got in the line.
Yeah.
I got it. I mean, there was this angel on my shoulder like, you don't have anything to lose.
Just go for it.
Get in the line. You already got a job. Go for it. And the devil was like, do not get your crazy butt in that line. You are not ready. And so I got in the line. I was the 60th person to get in line. They randomly called people to come back and kind of interact with the jocks because it was FM radio.
Sure.
And they were crazy. But Pete May was one of those individuals. He's still a friend to this day. And of the 60 people, I got the gig.
Wow.
That's how I got into radio.
And so how long did you do radio?
Oh, gosh. I did radio for the better part of, 25 years? Because the time I was doing radio, I was still doing some TV as well, because TV came about very similar to radio. So when people say, what did you interview for? Did you go to school? I didn't go to school for anything. I think when people say, hey, you've got a great voice, and you don't know, you know you can speak, but you can't hear yourself.
Oh, sure. And sometimes when you do hear yourself, it's like, do I
like,
sound like that?
Exactly.
That was my experience.
And so you got a good voice. And I said, so whatever. I took that kind of persona into the studio with me when I was dealing with those two FM jocks. But one thing led to another, and I got picked up the same way with TV. I can remember coming up here working for 850 KOA, and I also would MC around town and moderate and do things around town for different organizations. Yeah. And Walter Haven and Tim Whelan at that time saw me, and Tim approached me saying, I don't know if we have anything, but would you be interested in doing TV? And I'm like, I've never done TV. I need you to know that.
Yeah.
Right? And so he was like, okay, but let's just talk. And so we talked, and I worked for CBS for almost 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I think it sounds like you really just owned who you were. It wasn't like you were going in trying to put on a show or trying to please somebody. You were just being Glow.
That's exactly right.
That was a win for them. I think that's a good lesson for people to think about when you're sitting in your truth.
Right.
You're going to attract the right thing.
Right. Be who you are, and that's exactly right. I think the other piece of that is the universe knows the walk. I believe the walk is already measured from when you are even in the womb.
Oh, interesting.
Because if it is coincidence, there cannot be these coinky-dinkies, right?
I get it.
That things fall into place for a reason. But if I'd have done what I was supposed to have done in the beginning, all of these things still fall into place. I just think the steps are measured already.
Now, it sounds like you got into TV and radio in a non-traditional path.
Oh, no question.
Which I think is great. Gives people courage that you don't have to go the traditional path to
you don't.
Have a great career.
Right.
But if you were talking to an 18-year-old that said to you, like, I want to be on TV or I want to be on radio, what would you tell them?
I have had many of them say just that to me.
I'm sure that's
when
not the
I've
first
spoken at conferences and at high schools, I will say, learn how to write.
Interesting. Say more about that.
Jesus, learn how to write.
Yeah.
So many times, those individuals who want to be on TV in a professional sense, they have the look down, right? But they don't have the craft down.
Interesting.
Know your craft. learn it, because the rest is easy. You can buy some lashes, right? You can buy some makeup. You can buy some hair.
Right.
You can buy a whole bunch of other stuff too, honey hush. But you cannot buy the skill, the education, the experience. You need to know how to approach people. You need to know how to write your thoughts down. You need to know how to think on your feet.
Absolutely.
Those things are extremely important, but the first thing is learning how to write. Please learn how to write.
So you had this career in radio and TV, and now, while in some ways you're doing something very different, I bet there's a lot of parallels.
Oh, no question.
Talk about what you're doing now.
A lot of the relationships that I have as Executive Director of Public Affairs for Mayor Hancock really come into play from the walk that I've led in the journalistic world. A lot of doors would not be open to me had I not had the credibility from being a journalist.
Yeah.
They would say to me, you know, Glo, if you say that you're not going to ask me such and such on camera, I believe you. There is integrity in people allowing you into their space and into their lives.
And into their story.
No question. And they trust you more when you're honest. I've had people who said to me, you know what, Gloria, I don't want to talk about my husband's infidelity on camera. I don't want to talk about, and I say, okay, stop the camera. Let's have a conversation. Here's why I think you should talk about it, because it's cathartic. It can help others. I mean, just the myriad of things. There's redemption in that. People want to know that, hey, we worked this out. And so when we roll again, they've either agreed or disagreed. I will say to you, more times than not, they agree. And they say, you know what? I'm going to trust you to do this and depict me in the right way. And so that's why many things, when folks will say as a public affairs, Glo, you're involved? When did you join the mayor's office? Okay, now what? Because, you know, he made me mad about this, or I'm upset about that, because that's part of being the mayor. One of my key roles is either establishing new relationships, shoring up old ones, or even making sure the ones that we have are in good shape and we progress on. So
that's a difficult job. You wear many hats. It's nonstop. You probably have good days and bad.
Oh, boy.
How do you keep going?
So it's interesting you say that, the woman who just came up off of the flu, because here's what'll happen. If you do not shut down, your body will shut you down.
Absolutely.
And so when I was on my back for almost 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks. And your husband's like, we sick? If you're sick, we're sick. I'm laying right, I'm right here.
How sweet is that?
But it was wonderful, but it was also, it was eye-opening. Because you begin to realize I should have taken that break. My body wouldn't have been so broken down, and my immune system would not have been so susceptible. I should practice the self-care that I'm telling others to practice.
I get it.
And so the gym is good, but if you haven't had a good night's sleep for 3 weeks, go to sleep.
Yes.
Don't go to the gym.
Right.
Your body does not build the muscle on a tired frame.
Yeah, it's just falling apart.
It's falling apart. And all of those things came into play. The eating good. It's not just going to the gym. It's really eating good.
Yeah.
The gym just complements the eating good.
Absolutely.
And then making sure that you are taking time, not just for yourself, but for your relationship. Some people say, oh, I bet you got a lot of friends. No, because I don't have time for them.
Right.
Because girlfriends get upset. Well, why can't you come? Well, and I'm like, there is one of me, and I just can't do it.
Right. Well, that's a perfect segue into our last question. The whole idea of you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. By Jim Rohn. I think it's really true. And it sounds like while you are all over the place, it sounds like you have some close friends. And I'm curious, who is one of your 5?
And you know what? It's really, really interesting when you think about the people. So I think Marty Awad, I think, you know, Faye Tate, I think Luella, you know, I think Jandel, I think, oh my God, I think my husband.
Yeah.
But I will say, of all of those, here's why I say my husband, not because of the in the audience. That's not, I think because of the growth that we both have gone through over the last 22 years, right?
Yeah.
You are not the same person that you were 22 years ago, and nor should you be. And so as I look back over the 22 years and how much we've grown and how we've learned to do everything from be around each other to even argue, fight well, right?
There's an art to that.
There is an art to that. Everything is not okay.
Yeah.
There's some things where you just need to shut up and walk away because you do more damage. I had to learn that.
Yeah.
Right? I had to learn that. And so if you talk about we are the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with, I would say him and I spend a lot of time with him. But I also will say, I remember the first time I said to my husband, babe, I'm gonna go to this, get a massage. He was like, okay, what time's our appointment? I'm like, no, I'm going.
This is my time.
This is my appointment. And this was many, many years ago. Now he's like, see ya.
Right.
In order for me to be fresh and fun and glowing,
yes.
you need to regenerate. You need to be by yourself and spend that time and just recoup what you've put out there. And I think that's probably the biggest lesson, that self-care, to be selfish with your time is imperative in order for you to really be your best self.
Well, that is a perfect message to end on. Thank you so much for taking the time. I know you're a busy woman and recovering from being sick. It means the world to me.
Thank you, Stacey. I love you to pieces. You are great.
Thank you.